Hello, good evening, good morning, good afternoon from wherever you are watching me from. Welcome back to Equity Solutions. My name is Evans, and as some of you may know, we sell tipper trucks, um, excavators, low bed, wheel loaders, generators, trailers, cargo cars, those kind of equipment. So we sell them on cash and credit and sometimes CIF. So if you are interested, you can link us and we can help you with it. And the name of the company for those heavy duty is Cubic Trust Ghana Limited. You can go on YouTube or you can go on Facebook. Cubic Trust Ghana Limited. When you reach our line, we can help you with whatever solutions you may need. So today I would like us to touch on one or two topics, which is what can help with the pig farmers to get more profit on our farm, because pig farming, as we popularly know, is such a venture where the profit margin is good if only you are able to hold or control some factors. So today I would like us to touch on one or two factors that can help us to realize those margins and, even if possible, increase or make more on it. Because sometimes if you are not able to have those factors under control, you wouldn't really enjoy the pig farming as we normally preach online. So the first and foremost and not the least factor is, when you consider a site for your project, please kindly consider extra land to grow your own fruit or vegetables, or some of the fruits that are normally consumed by the pigs. Because when you have land where you grow such those kind of things, you wouldn't have to always fall on the market to feed your animals. And sometimes when there's scarcity on the system, or in the market, because you have those things available at your disposal, you wouldn't found wanting when in need of food to feed your animals. Who normally don't have that will have to always go online to the market to procure or purchase those things for his farm. And in Africa, we don't have a stable market or stable prices. So normally the prices fluctuate. So if you're not lucky, that farmer who always goes or falls on the market to get food supplies for his farm will sometimes be trading at a deficit. That is, sometimes your profit margin will be cut back by the increase in general price of goods and services on the market. So that is the money. The second factor that I would like us to consider today is that sometimes when we go to the market to procure or get food for our farm, some of us normally don't buy in bulk. So when there's some discount options available on the market, we normally don't get them. So one way to ensure that you get a good price for the commodities you are going to buy for your farm, sometimes you can fall on your other farmers who are in your locality or close to you, so that you can go and buy the feed or whatever you are going to buy for your farm. You buy in a larger quantity, and that can help you to bargain at a good rate or good price. So once you are able to bargain well, that discount that will be available to you, that will be given to you by the seller on the market, will eventually add up to your profit margin. The third factor I would like us to consider today is that um, when we go to the market, we should try as much as possible to become friends with the sellers, so that when there's a bumper harvest, or when their produce don't get sold out on the market and they are offering them for cheaper prices just to clear their stock, they can always call on us or call us, so that we can get a good deal for our farms. Again, we should scout um, through our localities those people who are dealing with some of the raw materials that we use for our farm, such as millers, rice bran, wheat bran, and those things. Those people who normally work with those things, when we become good friends with them, they can always call us to get those things at their disposal and feed it to our animals on our farm. And eventually, they will help us to get organic raw feeds for our farms and eventually add up to our profit margins on our farm. And at the end of the day, we will all smile the way to the bank. The next point, I would like us to touch on is that we will have to invest in machines that help us to formulate feeds for our farm. One will ask, what am I trying to say? When you go to the market, we have some machines some machines on the market, which normally helps us to mix feeds that help us to prepare feeds in our own way for our farms. If we invest or buy those machines, we don't have to always fall on the market to be buying feed for our farm, because those feeds that we normally buy on the market comes at a higher cost, and they don't help to promote good profitability margins on our farm. So when you think of pig farm, please try to save some money somewhere so that in the short term or in the long term, you can procure some of the machines that helps we the farmers to formulate our own feeds, and it will go a long way to help us. The next point on the list is we the farmers, this goes to the farmers or the various owners of the farms. We will have to find a way to maximize or get value for the feeds we buy for our farms. What I'm trying to say here is that sometimes or most of the times, we the farm owners, we leave the farm to the mercy of the farm managers or the caretaker. And sometimes they overfeed our animals. And sometimes they underfeed the animals as well. But then today, because we are looking at some of the factors that will increase our profitability margin, we are looking at some of the factors that will go a long way to increase our profit margins when we have them under control. And in relation to that, what we are talking about right now is that when we buy feed or foods for our animals or our pig farm, we should make sure that the right quantities are administered to the animals. Right quantities are given to the animals per the way we want it. So from time to time, we can visit the farm just to see how the farm manager or the caretaker is handling the farm. Sometimes when you are going, you shouldn't let them know that you are coming around. Go there before the scheduled time to feed the animals, so that you yourself, you can get to know what is happening on your farm when you are not around. And that can also help us to get value for the feeds we are buying for our farms. And sometimes too, this hasn't happened to me, but I've learned it from other farmers. When you leave your farm unattended for a long time, the caretakers or the farm managers sometimes find a way to steal the feed or the foods to other farms where they are close with, or those their friends who are in other farms. They are able to steal some of our feed from our farm and sell to their counterparts or those farmers on the very low price. And because it is low, some of the farmers will indulge in those bad activity, which will eventually affect our pocket, and it will decrease, because when that happens, it means that we are buying more feed than necessary, and that will eat into our margin. So when someone is telling you that pig farm is profitable, you wouldn't agree with the person because you didn't put one or two factors under control. The next point we are going to talk about is we should try as much as possible to distance our animals, our pigs. This applies to all forms of animals that we normally rear. We should try as much as possible to distance them from diseases. anything that will bring disease to our farm, anything at all that we think or that we have been told by other farmers that can plague our farm in terms of disease outbreak, we should try as much as possible to uh, pay attention to it. Because if you don't take care and you attract disease into your farm, curing or finding solution to some of the disease come with a hefty price, because some of the vaccines and the solutions that we'll have to undergo to get our animals back to healthy ways will cost us fortune, because some of the drugs naturally by themselves are costly, because sometimes and most of the times in Africa we don't produce most of the vaccines locally. So even if you are lucky, you can get it at a higher cost than you treat your animals with. But most of the time, if you are not careful, by the time you realize that you are plagued by disease on your farm, maybe it might be too late. That is, finding some of your animals dead, or they will be in a situation whereby it will be very difficult to restore their health back, and that will eventually deplete your stock. And when your stocks deplete naturally without you selling them or enjoying them yourself, it means you are running at a loss, and eventually the farm will collapse. So we should try as much as possible to put measures in place that will curtail introduction of disease rampantly in our farm. And when that happens, it will help us to grow our farm and and also get to realize the goodies in pig farming and general farming as well. So these are some of the points I have for you. And then, and again, before I forget, um, we should try as much as possible uh, to avoid cheap feeds. Like, some of the farmers have come to realize that when they are cash strapped, they resort to all sort of feed in our system, buying cheap feeds, maybe using um, old feed or leftovers from people, and that eventually um, don't help in the growth of animals. And when they don't grow well, it will affect productivity. And when productivity is affected, we suffer in terms of profitability, because your animals, sometimes you have to go a long way to cure them, or you have to spend much resources on them to get to the state to get them to the state you want them to be. So here are some of the few factors that I can um, bring on board farms. And those absentee farmers who um, start a farm and leave to the care of the caretakers and the farm managers, please, it's not advisable. It is better you get someone outside to be monitoring, to serve as a supervisory role person on your farm, than leaving it all by the farm manager or the caretakers. Sometimes when they become comfortable or they spend so much time with you, they become comfortable on the farm and they resort to do things their own way. And it is only one thing that is awaiting you. Your farm will eventually collapse. So please, let us try as much as possible to be present on our farm once a while, some piece of money to consult people who know how to monitor those things for you, so that from time to time they'll be going there to ensure that you get value for money. Thank you um, for watching us. This is Equity Solutions.